welcome, A. Hey, everybody. It is the 24th of January, 2023. This is Gimbalabs Playground. We get together every week at this time, starting at 1800 UTC, to talk about stuff that we might want to build on Web3, blockchain, Cardano, however you want to talk about it. And it's a wide open meeting. So this is a space where people can present on anything they're thinking about. It might be an application that you've already built and you want more people to know about it. It might be just a loose idea that you're starting to work on and you need some help thinking about it or maybe building a team. So we get together every week at this time. You don't have to ask for permission to present. There's a live Miro board right here. I'm going to share this link in the chat as usual. Feel free to jump in here and take a look around. If I can find the chat. And if you'd like to present, as you can see, just like Session just did here, right? Just drop your name in an empty slot, and that's it. You are now officially on the agenda as a presenter. If you have questions, just ask them anytime in these calls. We've got a great list of presentations coming up, starting with Guillermo from Energia Social today. Logan from Clarity DAO is coming next week. Terrence from Singular 2 the following week. Really excited to hear what Peter's been up to on Ancilla Systems, and then a couple of presentations regarding Game Changer and democratic structures that Quasar's been organizing. And Session, we're coming full circle to DEMU in early March. Beautiful. Anybody have questions about how we do this thing? All right. If you're looking for other ways to get involved, we have a couple of other weekly calls at Gimbalabs. So if Playground is too technical for you and you'd rather talk about a book, we can do that twice a week on Wednesdays and Thursdays for book club. We're reading a book called Emergent Strategy. And if Playground is not technical enough for you, make sure to drop by Plutus PBL Live Coding. PBL stands for Project-Based Learning. We meet every Wednesday and Thursday starting at 1430 UTC. To build stuff together and to talk about what we might build next. But Guillermo, we met for the first time last week, and I'm glad you're here. Excited for the presentation. Welcome.
Thank you, James. Hi, everyone. Well, James, as I mentioned the other day, first time I heard you with your fist up and fighting on Fund 8 with a big whale, making voters go this way or the other one. That's when I say, okay, this guy, we need to work with this guy. And then through the C4C community and Sebastian, is that, well, we end up here. So glad to be here, glad to see the same faces like last week. It was technical, still I love it, and it was a great chance to see the faces and to see the humans behind the screens and heard you talk about and discuss about building together. Something that is challenging, funny, can be a pain in the ass, but when you get results, it's something that yeah, gives you a lot of chills and hopefully pays the bills. So just for you to have a little glimpse of myself, I'm going to turn 50 January, Thursday, 26th. So that's 2 days from now. I'm going to get drunk and do a lot of music with my friends. I paid my first wife house doing communication and business development in the United States. I study communication, business, and architecture. I would have loved to be an engineer, but I have learned about it for this last 5 years that I've been developing this project. That came to me totally from somewhere else. It's not that somebody talked to me from, but it came from Christmas presents to being bored of what I was doing. So we will see how we get, and now I'm paying this house doing renewable energy, and who knows with what I'm going to be doing when I will be paying my third wife house. So that said, it's a pleasure to be here. Again, it's a pleasure to know the minds behind the development. It's hard to get to you guys, okay? And we haven't got to this place through magic. As I say, networking is the first step to collaborating, and then so forth and so forth. My English is a little bit rusty. I have my translator here. I'm going to turn this WhatsApp, and I'm going to share a screen. Let me see if I can do that. Share screen. Okay. Which one is you? There you go. Okay. So last week presentation was too technical. I love it because I'm getting into, I know coding. I have code myself up since Macromedia and Flash. I don't know who's old enough to know that. And I evolved into, with that on, we learn, with Macromedia, we learn JavaScript on the second page of animation. And from there on, I have moved myself to understand. So I understand a little bit of the last week discussion. But this is a very business-oriented presentation, okay? One thing Sebastian told me when he suggests that Gimbalabs was the right path. He said, so we need business people. So I love hacking. The system needs to be shaped. But as I mentioned a couple of times in some meetings with developers, we need to do it as they are doing it. If we don't think like Coca-Cola, we are going to be stop depending on funding to pay our developments, our cars, electric car, whatever we want, surfboards, weed or whatever. So we need to get robust and have a strong business model. It is hard, and there are a lot of cannibals out on the street, and there are a lot of people emptying some others' pockets through knowledge. But what we are trying to do is not that, but we are using knowledge and we are using technology. And so that will give me a first, I think, a good jump for the first slide. Okay, this is us. I don't know if you guys can see this.
Looks good.
Okay, so this is us. This is Gimbalabs. Okay. So some years ago, I returned from the United States. I spent some time in Uruguay. I got a Christmas book where I learned about some guy named Muhammad Yunus. Muhammad Yunus is a guy that created the social business concept. Got to learn, have a lot of rewards for that, including a Nobel Prize. And then he got spooked getting some money from the table, you know. So like Mother Teresa, you know, there's gray everywhere. But from having that concept on my desk, on my book desk, my mom's present. It's a from an Argentinian guy. It's a journalist. I learned from this guy. Okay. And I was doing renewable energy in Uruguay because Uruguay, when I came back, Argentina was a little bit toxic to me in all ways, politically, mentally, healthy. So I went to Uruguay and I started developing, learning from renewable energy. I told this guy, you give me all you have, you teach me and I sell it. I know how to do it. So I learned from renewable energy. I got this book and I say, okay, I'm going to build this renewable energy business, social business. And so I put a pancake with a great chocolate cake on top and a lot of frosty, and it came up with this great idea, concept. It came from building from other ideas, from others' ideas. You know, when we are not original, we always copy, pasting unconsciously. This was, you do that a lot of music. In music, you do that a lot in art. You do that a lot that on coding, of course. And so, yeah, I put together some good rhymes and some good metaphors and some chords, and it came up this. I came down to Argentina, back, the government changed. I have this idea, and there was no regulation for user generator solar house. No, you're putting solar panels in your house. Listen guys, this was 2015, and there was still no regulation in Argentina for solar panels. Okay, so that's that far we are from in this matter. So the first thing I had to do was to get into the Congress and write this thing up. Again, copy paste Californian law. I don't know if it was Connecticut or the one that had the net balancing and the other and the opposite. Then I stole, and I have a German friend and helped me to put some ideas together about the original regulation that came from, like a lot of things from Germany. Then I put on top of that the regulation from Uruguay, blah, 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 blah. A lot of things have changed from Germany in the 60s to today. Technology, regulations, and possibilities. And well, we make it happen. We went into the Congress. That's what the first thing we have to do. How you call it? Hacktivism. So I put together a Twitter account, Energía Social, that later was hacked, probably by like somebody in the government. But we end up getting into the government. I don't know if you go through a site, you're gonna see me and the congressman that helped me to put this through. It was fun. It was a pain in the ass. There's a lot of touching in your butt, you know, when you lobby in politics. But okay, I have this good purpose pushing me, so yeah, we did that. I would do that again if I have to. But that was the first seed. We have nothing before that. We have a great opportunity, a great purpose, a great idea, if you want to say, but we didn't have the land, the soil where to put this seed. That done, global Ventus Energía, now is Ventus Global. Before it was only in Uruguay. There's a renewable energy company, okay? They put down all the windmills, eolic energy in Uruguay in a record timing. Uruguay is the first country in South America to have renewable energy regulation. And today they have 100% of the energy is sustainable, and they sell to Brazil and Argentina the excedence, okay, of this energy. Great business, great idea, and a great team, great people. When they found that this guy that came from California put this law into the Congress and the government changed, and they were starting to build the solar farms and the eolic farms here, somebody told it, yeah, this is crazy dude doing this. A guy from the business director called me. I say, okay, I'm going to stand behind you. You do whatever the fuck you want. You keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to be here to back you up and give you the track record you need to get somewhere. You need to build a solar farm. So from that, this was 2018. And that's when we took the AR from Energía Social Argentina. That's the origin of this, the first line. So from the union of Energía Social and Ventus Global, a renewable energy social company was born with more than 3,000 megawatt installed. So we have a great partner to go dancing, to go and play the game. Okay. Well, it wasn't anymore this guy that came with a good idea. We have muscle, and so from now on, I've been learning from it, from the team of engineering, and I learned some tricks. But we never left this get us, DC or too optimist. So we put this mantra in our veins. This is what really pushes us. We, as a social enterprise, we have a book we wrote in the foundation of the company that locks the 51% of the equity into purpose, sustainable social development strategies. This is not a foundation. We don't give money for free. We try to develop, as we have already, strong, sustainable, long-term strategies for social sustainable development. In LATAM, I don't know if you guys know, but Argentina have more than 0.5% of the population is poor, and live from the government. So it's sucking from the government's teeth, just to be proper, and that makes it impossible. It's a círculo. It's a circle of toxic. It's like a toxic relationship. No, it's going anywhere. So we developed a couple of social housing projects, prototypes. We developed different business models, and we start. One thing that we did the best, and I think that's what we have here on the table, are alliances. As Ventus helped us and gave us the muscle, like the big cousin, in a bar fight, give us the tool to go out there and to do the things we're doing. We have, for these years, work with great alliances. We survived COVID, and that, I think, that make us stronger, because we have time to even think a little bit more what we were going to do. And blockchain came up. It was around when I was in San Francisco. People buying pizza, a lot of people stacking it up. My brother-in-law still looking for the fucking code for one of my sister's computer. Have no password for that, a couple of Bitcoins. But well, not the 100K of BTC. I'm talking about blockchain purpose, blockchain scaling, blockchain transforming, blockchain changing, blockchain doing, blockchain turning into crypto and spreading all around like a fucking virus. Then Luna came. Then all these suckers are using a tool. It's like using a hammer. You can build or you can destroy. So you have both. But and then Cardano came into our scope, and I was already thinking on building the idea of smart contracts for the network of users, for the Energía Social network with purpose. And one of my youngest nephews built here Lemon Cash, that is a trader, a crypto trading app that have already more than 1 million users. So it's Lemon Cash. And everybody, trying to escape from inflation. You guys have there in the States 8%. Here we have 100% last year. And that's official number. So if you add that up to what is real inflation, you can, I think it was 135, 33.2. So a lot of people using this bought last year Ether at 6K or Bitcoin at So again, it's a tool that you can hurt your fingers even if you're trying to use it with good purpose. You can chop your finger off. And chop a lot of my fingers chopped in my country. A lot of people bought a lot of crypto, the good ones and the bad ones, because Luna got here. Remember that this guy, Matt Damon, is married with an Argentina, so she came here to dance tango, and fuck, a lot of people bought that shit. And so I started digging in Cardano because it's the natural partner for us to use blockchain for smart contracts. Because it was before the blockchain with purpose that before I even learn about it. And then you learn the humans behind the idea. So I said, this guy is crazier than I am. And there's a lot of crazy people like me, and we're doing shit. We're getting shit done. And I start reading it, and I dig into Catalyst, and I was amazed and curious about the social experiment. Because it's all about governance, and it has been evolving, and it's a really young child, this tool. So yeah, I think it's a really amazing experiment, and sharing knowledge and ideas, and giving people the idea of open source, something that we do a lot of old school people do. And I play my cards, and I put out my voice, and that's when I met you, James, for this post a year ago, more than a year ago. And I met amazing people, and we start collaborating. And we have a very concrete objective and business model. We have partners. We have a Series A already lined up. We have already invest, and we have already profit. We have worked for brands like McCain Food, Johnson & Johnson. We have donated, we have we have educated kids, we have created jobs. So all what you're going to see, guys, is not a pitch deck. That's something we're going to do. We already have been doing it. Okay, we put solar panels, we plug them in, we make them work, we create green energy, and with that jobs and with the profit, we invest in keeping ourselves in business and bringing solutions and investing in development. So why Cardano? If you guys, it's not obvious yet, you need to get off this playground. So yeah, Cardano is the way to go. We still believe in that, and we're going for it. And we think that Gimbalabs can help us to achieve what we want to achieve. We work under two scales. Micro generation, we work through an e-commerce in partnership with Mercado Libre, that is the Amazon from Latin America. We have our purpose to do it. We have our strategy. Why do we pick them? Why we want to work with them? Because they are bringing us scale, visibility, and resources. And it's a great alliance, because you don't only need money, you need vision behind money. Money is just a piece of paper. So you don't have vision and purpose, it's just a business. And then we work on a second scale, where we create and generate energy in big scale, and we sell it. We sell the renewable energy through big contracts to private entities, parties, under a regulated market that gives us that is backing up our investment, or our financial investments money. Okay. The good thing is that this last years we came up with this idea, and we presented to SC Johnson before the COVID. It was February, and since then we have an agreement and we have a wording intention to buy in our energy. And then came HSBC, and then came McCain Foods, and then came all these companies that they are learning how to be sustainable, and they are using energy, and they say, okay, instead of buying from these guys, we can also buy from these guys. And if Comercial can build a solar park, we can buy from them, and they can execute their business model. That is, as I said, 51% of equity locked and profit into development, not putting black cardboard houses. Building using technology. You're gonna, if you search our site, you're gonna see prototypes for modular architecture. Those are from 2017, 2018. I've lived in California in a SIP house, and here in Argentina they're still building with mud. Figure it out what there are no houses for people. Plain you build houses like in 3 months, and here you're still waiting to the house dries up. Okay. So this is the two scales of our business. Where we see Gimbalabs as all the partners we have, helping us as a developing partner to amplify the scale of our potential positive impact in the region. We are in Latam. Some guys have approached and said, hey, Guillermo, you need to, you can take this. There's need everywhere. I know, man, but I'm still here. I'm still digging into fucking making shit happen on scale here, because we have done stuff. But if we want to scale, we need $2.5 million, because I need 10 megawatts, because with 10 megawatts, I get a fluid of money that I can make. So that's where we are today. So things got serious from there on, when we ambition more, So first scale, straight to business, user generation revolution. We call it this way because it's a usuario generador in Spanish. And that's the leitmotif we use for the hacktivism we got to the government with, because we start standing in front of the building with signs, okay? And it was la revolución usuario generador. So it's a user generating their own energy, and living sustainable, and paying their solar panels and living with energy for free. That's how it works. With this, we have a very concrete goal on this Q1. We have already started. With Mercado Libre, our e-commerce is on up running. We want to do it with our own components. Okay, I don't want to sell somebody else. They're making the profit. I'm cleaning their hands. So now we are bidding, and we're going for a Series S to have the solar components for 1,000 users. We're doing this with the same partnership in Argentina, Uruguay. Okay, at the same time. And we have as partners Mercado Libre, HSBC financing, and there's a lot of banks already on the move, and Force Foundation, that is the foundation we picked to because of their track record to go deep on the vulnerable locations and use their territorial knowledge. Where are the kids that want to get out from there? And we help them, because we are not going to try to convince nobody, leave drugs, stop robbing. We are going to go there and go. We already done that and we failed. So we are going now with people that know what they're doing. They're involved in education. They have been for 20 years, and they again gave us what we want: scale through Latam. They are original base in the States, but they are in all Latin America. So our pilot for the first 1,000 users is going to be in Argentina, Uruguay. Again, because I know Uruguay, I know where, I know how, and also we know people. And our partner is from Uruguay. So he said, if you're not doing this here, I'm not going to invite you to eat barbecue. So, okay, so we're going there too. And I love it. And that's where we learn to surf. The Argentinians learn to surf. This is the side, this is marketing and communication basics, code by a small group of people using templates. This is all online. I can do this and show you. This is real, the real thing. I know if you guys still. I need to share this other screen. No. Let me do this.
We can see the browser here. Is that good?
You can see the browser here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So this is us. These are our real jobs. Okay. This is not like posting from. This is our partner. Kicking ass. This is us with McCain Food and kids. If you click there, there's a lot of information about the companies and all of that. This is the first user generator using the usuario generador. I'm going to go in Spanish because we need to work on that in English. This is a foundation where we took solar panels. We gave that with the help of HSBC. And these kids, some of them, they are already working installing solar panels. This is real, 100% real shit. This is not mock-up stuff. I can tell the girls from the top are the girls from the Foundation Fort. These girls they know what they're doing, and they have this methodology. So we pick them up. We browse through 10 foundations, and we pick the one involved in education and that have the structure to, because if we hit it and we scale, well, we need to have somebody that can do what we are ambitioning. We can't figure out what we're going to do then. We need to, it's part of the business model we are offering. So yeah, this is us, and this is how we sell and marketing our product. And I'm going back here, and this is how we sell it. And yeah, so the objective is clear: turn users in generators of their own energy, given that the benefit. Managing all this, that a lot of this came through smart meters and homes getting clever. You want to say it in a not technical way. Homes are clever. They're going to get even more clever. Okay, technology is everywhere, and smart meters, smart lighting, smart everything, and we do this through this business model, and 5% of the profit is donated through Foundation Fort to education and business inclusive, all this that I have been explaining before. Now we have a 3%, the 3% of our profit is donated, but what we are going to call 1,000 roofs, following what the Germans did on the 60s, and they scaled to 100,000 roofs. That's our goal, but we're going to do it not through a politics or subsidy. We're going to do it as a social business, and we're going to be free from which wins every 4 years, and so forth and forth. So as I mentioned, HSBC is on the table already, and he's going to be leading the Series A for the park and the things we need for this campaign. He's going to be the bank is going to be given 5 years financing. It's 5.5 interest on the credit. It's great. It's fair. We went through it a couple of times. We scratched the numbers, and it's fair. And it's a way not to put the money down. In Uruguay, it's going to go like this, because in Uruguay, regulation tells that if you invest in this technology through taxes, they give you back the 100% of the investment. So this is going to go, I think in Uruguay, we're going to sell off in like 3 or 6 months. More than that, because there's a lot of strong communication to do on that, through that Mercado Libre wants to do, we want to do, and the bank they want to talk about this happening. Okay, so they're going to go for it, and because of this amazing regulation they have in the country, you invest, and the government give you back 100% of the investment. It's a closed deal. It's great. It's not going to happen in Argentina for a long time. And again, the Ford Foundation is giving us also the track record for these other companies to roll and join the team. This is all the strong points in the alliances here. We all make us strong together. So where we see the Gimbalabs, I told you guys before, but to put it in words, is to make available a solution in the energy transition. Energy transition is everything, and it has to be electrical, the cars, electrical, the toilets, everything. And using blockchain is going to make this more efficient and transparent. And we want to use blockchain to make it transparent and solid every penny that comes into Energía Social, to people can trace it, to people that donate, to companies that invest, to use blockchain for everything. We need to use blockchain for every single thing we do, and more for the smart contract with the user. Okay, and then we thought on turning that kilowatt that it turns into dollar to turning into a token, Energía Social token. We don't need to build a new blockchain. We have an amazing, very energy efficient blockchain that is called Cardano, and it has different tokens. Okay, the Gimbal token, the ADA token. Now the Jet is on the house, and cuts the speculation or the derivative that comes from variability, or very unstable, if you want to say, market of cryptocurrencies. So people will be able to pick if we use a blockchain that has different tokens. Okay, so again, it's kilowatt turns into dollars, and then people will be able, if we make that part of our network, of our platform from the get-go, we not only have a good idea and we have good partners, we're gonna have something to scale in order. Yeah. We have the power to scale through Mercado Libre. We have the power to scale through the financing of the bank, because each one has to get his money or put it on a little pig. But if we are going to scale, we need to do it properly and with traceability, and to use blockchain. If we have a great hammer, a great tool, we're going to use it. We want to use it, and we want to use Cardano, and we want to do it with Gimbalabs. Here's what I was telling you before. I'm sorry, I'm going through it because I put this together, and this is not a pitch. It's a way to tell you guys what we're doing. So user generator, these are little acronyms to don't make it too long. We generate, again, kilowatt that it turns into USD, that it turns into Gimbal, ADA, or Jet. As a result of selling their energy to the distributors, this will get a flux of income. You figure it out, how solar energy works. I have to explain a lot of this to people here because they didn't even see a solar panel, or they don't know how you can generate your own energy. And the other thing we think that it can be another strong point is that we can run a node of Cardano and help the network expand and make it powered by renewable energy. That is going to be paid by a partner bank, that is going to be installed, creating jobs. So when this, so it's very simple where we can interact and where we need you guys, and where and why Cardano is why Cardano is the blockchain we want to use, and yeah, having a node running by renewable energy, it's all have a mainnet. You know, we can have a lot of things that you can read in a lot of proposals, adaptation, expansion, scale. It's all the same. It's making shit happen. If you want to put it down to straight words, for that you need to put a lot of things together, and yeah, that will be an additive, because it's something that we can't impose. We can impose to have a node, put the node. We need to understand that that's something we can, and we will if we put it on the roadmap and on the objectives, and we need to get Cardano, IoT involved and understand how, and learn how, and have resources and build a business plan and so forth and so forth. That's the micro scale. Going to the 10 megawatts. So I have a friend in San Juan. When we discussed this, and hey, good you're back here. A lot of people get funded on Catalyst. They don't develop shit. That's something I put my hand up and I say, hey guys, what are you guys doing? You guys are young. You guys use that to develop. I'm old. Grow your own plants. Do something, but use that money to develop. You can get rich. Think monetize. If you don't monetize, you just gonna depend from. You need to monetize. You need to be able to make a business that get influx from money from donors if they can, and if you're lucky enough. But you need to be able to make profit. If you are in education, you are in this with a purpose, but you are putting an idea that you want to sell that, and it's good, and you don't do it. Fuck, dude, what are you here for? So we do have land in San Juan. I have a friend that I played soccer with when I was young. I don't play anymore, he went with my little brother to school. He's from La Familia Sarmiento. I'm going over there now in February, middle of February, to shoot some content, because it's where we're going to put the solar panels. So they are donating the land for exchange of some energy, because they grow nuts and they pump a lot of water. And they have energy unit 500 meters from the land. That is where you will bury all of the investment if you want to do a solar park. You need to get to the cable, and then you need a transformation unit for your. This is already there. That was totally luck. That wasn't us. It was something from the destiny. So we have the land, and the same family have land in San Luis, 2 places with a lot of radiation. You don't need to go back to Ada Solar to see if they've done their job, what they said they were going to do. Everything is online. Regulations are online. The market is there. Cables. You can see where the cables are on an AI sustained platform. What you need to know is about the energy market. What you need to have are partners that have the muscle to put that thing down and make it work. So yeah, I have a discussion with them. It's all good. But just to go with that, it's hard to get money. It's difficult to scale blockchain with purpose. They're giving you an opportunity. Well, so this is what came with before the COVID, and that we work on the COVID. We stayed home and we understood that if we have the possibility of developing the two business models at the same time, we're going to have more strength to create an impact. We know what to do with money. We already have the prototypes of the houses. We know how to build it. We quantified every single ball that goes in that thing. We draw it in Starbucks coffee and drink liters and liters and liters and liters and liters. And we have a lot of blueprints ready for it. But of course, you need to find a way to get back the money that you need to create these solar parks. Okay, you want to put 10 megawatts down of solar power generation. Those are a lot of panels, believe me, and a lot of cables and a lot of steel buried in the soil. Sorry, in the land, on the dry land. You need a lot of money. You need $2.5 million for 10 megawatts. And that goes down while you increase the scale of the solar park. Okay, it's a ratio. So it's $752 per kilowatt installed in San Juan. In a house, for example, the ratio is 2.2 plus 1,200. Is how do you say no? 1,200. You say 1,200, something like no. Yeah. I learned that from my son. So you have a radio, and for what our little we have been touching around with different companies, and we think we're going to sell all the energy we're going to generate on the first bid, because nobody's doing what we're doing. And we are not saying that we are going to do. We are already doing it. We are not asking for money to invest in something to see if this business is going to work. This energy is a business that works, and we have proven that we can do it and that we do what we say in terms of purpose. So we believe that we're going to have all the energy sell off before we even start building the park, that you do it through contracts. I think that we have the right partners on bidding on the Series A. We can get more money to make a bigger park. And the Series B is already in place because it's the expansion of this park. And it's making more energy under the same business model. Okay, it's not that, okay, we have 100 users and then we are going to scale and then we're going to make the app. This is energy business. We are fighting against our competition is Mr. Putin. And where we need Gimbalabs, same thing. We want to use blockchain for everything on this. On renewable energy, you can use AI and blockchain for everything. They are using it. We need to use it. We understand that Gimbalabs can give us the know-how to develop a smart contract platform for users. So if Netco or of McCain Foods want to buy more, they can go in and click, and that's it. And they can follow their transaction and do this using smart contracts on the Cardano mainnet. And understanding that there's a lot of things to develop under that. We can have a platform where users can buy for their residents. It's something that is happening in Michigan. I have a friend that he doesn't want to put solar panels on the roof. It's not that he doesn't have a roof. He doesn't want to put them. So he buys from a community solar park. So we can do that if we create something sustainable, strong technologically, and we use the right tools. That is the main Cardano made it, and the right team. You say that. So that's where we see you guys playing. And then comes up Singularity Net. This is for networking and knowing some people, and some people pointing, hey, G, you need to get in
Hey,
here.
Guillermo, just real quick before we jump into number
Yeah.
3, just time check. We have 30 minutes
Okay.
left till the end of the
Yeah.
session. So if you want to make time for people to ask questions, it might be a good time to transition to that.
Okay, sir.
We do have a hard
Okay.
stop in about 30 minutes.
Okay, so there's a new opportunity that came up. It's a second round, and it gives us the possibility to dig a little bit what we can add to the Energía Social model, business model. So we came up to this that I already sent you, James, the link. So we want to create an AI-powered app for social sustainable development and to create a cross-chain carbon footprint calculator. I put that. I can add the link of a Singularity Net proposal. We're still working on details, and I want to discuss with you on how you guys going to play on this, because there's funding, and we have a very clear goal, and we don't want to compete with our carbon footprint sites online. It will be part of, it will get on the Singularity Net marketplace, but we have a place to sell it. We have brands to sell it. You need to marketplace these guys. It's a place where you can sell organic cheese. So that's what we're thinking. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to need, well, it's the same what I just said with more words is the summary of this. But I think this one is the good one, because when we start thinking on this, what if we imagine energy in all physics states? What if we even go to plastic? What if we can quantify residuals? So having a carbon footprint from energy is easy. From a car, yeah, we're gonna need good knowledge, but more than nothing, have used GPS tracking and understand that. But still, you're gonna need inputs from the user, because you need to know it's gas, it's diesel. If not, it's bullshit. Yeah, he's moving. Yeah, he's moving. He's burning. No, still you need the user, and we have that power on Energía Social network of users. We're gonna have 1,000, okay, here, and 1,000 crossing the river. So we can make this app do all these different things. Connect with your house, tell you how much you are consuming, how much you are generating, measure your transportations, and give you what you can do. The energy consumption monitoring on your house on different variables. But as I said, I think the challenge is to quantify energy in all physics stages. That's I think then you can make recommendations, you can make suggestions, you can create community engagement by creating a gamification kind of, and that's where we see something where we can use AGICs to transcend, to give rewards, and to give tangible traction to the token. That way we have something interesting that they can see from us that is a mutual beneficial, and yeah, and that have the user engage in different ways. This using AI, we can personalize the experience, we can predict modeling that, and that's something that is what we use in AI in renewable energy. Okay, but we can predict, we can build from there, and we can, more than nothing, is start using AI to create sustainable, long-term sustainable social strategies. Because we're going to learn a lot. We can learn a lot from understanding how much, if we measure trash, plastic, while we're buying it, it's going to be totally different. So we're going to create a different understanding of energy in all terms. We want to transcend the lighting bulb. Okay. Yeah, this is something that we are seeing in Mercado Libre. People who can donate. There's something that a guy from the team came up. It's good. It's fixable. People can do that through this app. And more than nothing, I say, and put it on the number K with the letter K. We can use it at a marketplace for goodies. Okay, and that gives a place where you can monetize. And we are doing it in an app that is from a social enterprise that at the same time have the 51% of the equity cut to do good shit. This is where we're going. This is where we are. We have an ex-president in Argentina that is president from the FIFA Foundation. It's the first place we're going to go. It's the first, believe me, it's the first place we're going to go. We have conversation with the BYD. We have a conversation with the World Bank because they are listening to us. But at the same time, there are a lot of private sector investment that want to play, want to invest, want to have profit, and a lot of want to donate in these solar parks and into the Southern Roof strategy. This is what we aim into on the first quarter to see how much we can get to make what we are looking for. And if we get funded and picked on Singularity Net, that is closing on the 29th, we want Gimbalabs to be developing this with us. For both, they're going to be funding. So it's then second and third quarter, as this slide says, we're going to start executing. I brought this down because I've learned from, and I wrote and signed my first NDA in the United States after fucking it up, because you know how shit goes and hits a roof. So on the second time, I was going to collaborate to create content and to shoot something to ESPN and to say, okay, let's sign this. Let's build this. We put this, how much we're going to get, how much we're going to build. This is, and that's when collaboration started working for me. And it's the only way to do it. Things have to have a budget. Things to have a clear stack. Like soccer or football or basketball, you need to know where, what part of the field you're going to play, and using documents, clear documents, and again sharing profit. I want to co-create things, and I don't want to, I can't for time issues start creating teams, and it's something that you guys can help Energía Social with. So this is something from one of my favorite architectures, and it's better than Muhammad Yunus quotes. That quote, Yunus says, change will come through in the system. I think Fuller's is better, because if something you have to change something for real, you need to build something new. And to make the other thing recyclable. And that's what we're trying to do. Thank you guys for the time. I'm sorry I went too long, but hey, thank you.
It's great to have the overview. Thanks, Guillermo. I saw a couple hands during the presentation. Maybe we could start with A. And Steve, if you still have a question.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, awesome, cool. Hey, Guillermo, thank you for the awesome presentation. This is an idea which I've personally been thinking about for some time as well. Just to kind of quickly, in like 30 seconds, give some context. I am. I've been interested in solar and wind, and I've taken very early steps. I'm looking to do it in the context of South Portugal, where it's quite sunny and quite windy. Yeah, and so I've been thinking about, everything from generation to storage and consumption, and also things like transmission loss and so on. And thinking about how one could possibly use something like a smart meter, in terms of measuring, um, yeah, in terms of measuring, I suppose, everything from generated to, yeah, consumed to stored. But most important, trying to figure out a way to do that which is tamper proof, right? Because things like meters, even smart meters, have been tampered with, which fundamentally creates an opportunity for loss in terms of it makes the system lack integrity. So yeah, but once that can be able to be figured out, I think stuff like what Tesla are doing with the auto bidder um software, I think is really, really quite interesting, and will be fundamentally game changing, because
Yeah,
once you figure that out, you've got the opportunity to take computation and energy and really
yeah,
match them up in a really beautiful way. So my
yeah.
my question here is, like, in the existing landscape within blockchain, the other players like Power Ledger, for example. I'm just curious to hear what your perspective is on the current landscape. And you mentioned NDAs. I wasn't entirely clear whether you were hoping to sort of have an NDA sort of like relationship with the folks who are going to be building it. Yeah, and if you could speak a little bit to incentives, that's it. Thanks.
In terms of technology to use, yeah, I think who has the money to invest in development and have the right knowledge is gonna jump some steps. Tesla is not obvious they're doing great, and they're doing right. And again, it's vision behind the resources. So they have been a game changer on the solar and on the sustainable economy transition we are trying to achieve, because and all this technology apply all parts of the system need to be working. Each one has a specific use, and like solar, the solar panel itself, the solar cell. So they are going through the right direction, because blockchain is getting into the house. You need so smart housing have been there for 20 years. Now we have AI and blockchain. So now the houses are not going to be smarter. They're going to be 10 times smarter. They're not going to just smart. They're going to know just to read. They're going to fucking do a lot of shit. So yeah, we need the so people are investing the right. I think Tesla went down to 100, then jumped 130 the last day. It's going to end up in 1,000. I don't know who is not bullish for Tesla right now. If I have money, I would jump in it. But because, yeah, great leader. I don't know. Building through leadership is different than building through, how you say, power. It's totally different. So I like that, and yeah, they have the right knowledge. And then in terms of and yeah, I know. Listen, you guys, I have been working, and to have reading contracts helps the parts to work efficiently and happy, and without thinking that somebody's going to screw them. And if you're starting to think and put ideas on the table, and if you have a development agreement that you will share the benefits, why, it's good, because you're going to go for it. You're going to go all for it. You're going to really understand that building together can create benefits for the, it's like a, I don't know how to say this math. Is that if you come up with a great idea and I have a great place table to put it on, and somebody start to say, okay, this is going and creates a lot of profit. Something reading on the beginning helps you dance fluently. It's like it's like yeah. I had helped me before, and without it, I have different problems, if you want to say, or limitations, if you want to say, more than problems, fuck money, limitation, because you're not aiming to the bigger picture you can really get, So I think it's all about that. Listen, hey, are you guys hearing me? I have an agreement with Ventus Energia. Without them, I have nothing. They are getting a lot from us. We are getting a lot from them. Without them, I was just a geek.
Right. Okay. Guillermo, I'm kind of,
Hey, Steve.
I kind of want to ask some kind of short and fairly specific questions, because, we're running out of time. So, when you imagine, collaborating with Gimbalabs, do you mean hiring them, hiring Gimbalabs to do some of this development work? Do you mean inviting Gimbalabs to get involved with this as a good investment of our time? How would you characterize what you mean?
Listen, so now, for example, let's use this the two objectives, concrete tasks we have on the table to make it clear, or just have a clear, open discussion of how we can see it playing. Okay, Singularity, the round 2 of Singularity, we have this idea. We need somebody to develop it. We haven't put the number of the funds we need. And if we are a company, if you guys want to co-create and the proper the ownership can be shared.
Okay.
Again,
all right. Well,
again,
we
can hire you. We can hire you if you want to be hired. You want to say, hey, dude, we want this, but listen, it's not that you guys invest your time. No. There's funding, but you are going to be giving ideas to what we have. You guys, it's not like you're working as it's a different relationship, let's say.
So I've been around Gimbalabs since it began. So, and I'm not a developer, right? I don't code. So, but my first experience out of school in the 70s was working with computers, and so conceptually I follow along. And so what I want to do is just kind of describe to you what it means to build out an application or a network of applications for a system like what you're describing. It starts on the Cardano protocol with a transaction, right? And then the next step is to create escrowed transactions where money doesn't change hands until conditions are met, right? And so like what you're describing, in terms of like the system that would need to be developed with the blockchain are layers of transactions that have to be very carefully and precisely defined. And so there's hundreds, if not thousands of hours of conversation among developers that have to happen to develop this thing, because there are different parts of that process, right? Different people will be writing code as well as just basic script functionalities for you. Right. So you need that kind of advice first, right? And that's going to take time. like Gimbalabs has a, that we've got a roadmap at Gimbalabs. We're doing specific things, right? But what seems most appropriate for you to do right now is to understand the educational process that we're building, the framework for learning how to build these layers of transactions. And I believe that we have some people from South America and even Argentina that are going through the Plutus project-based learning platform that's been built in this last year. And
Yes.
I believe because it really takes fundamental understanding of your problem there on a local basis, that what might be really helpful for your process in terms of like what we can provide for you is to develop relationships with the people who are already learning Plutus through Gimbalabs PBBL, but also finding developers there local to where you are who you can pay to learn this stuff that we're teaching and providing the platform for teaching. Along the way, we can then kind of work with this conceptualizing part of what does need to be built first, second, third, and fourth to make this system realizable. Just from my understanding of, the last 2.5 years of being around Cardano, I appreciate building the relationship with AGIX. But to me, that's like a really latter stage in this process. There's a fuck ton of work that has to be done before you ever need them.
Right.
So
Right. Well, Steve,
I just kind of wanted to give a context on what can happen through Gimbalabs with what we do already and what I feel like we're good at, and I feel like some of the conversations about developing certain applications and systems that I've been a part of over the last couple of years have been very exciting. Right, just going through the discussion is incredibly illuminating. So that's just my thoughts that I could share with you after your presentation, and I really appreciate you doing it. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah, well, that's a discussion we need to have. We need to understand what is the size of the muscle of the Gimbalabs and what you guys are able to do, and what we can build together and find a way to play the game. Again, as I mentioned before, collaboration needs to be respectful, and there needs to be resources, and nobody works for free. And if the team we need is bigger than the one we have, we will need to teach before we scale. And it's something that James wrote me. Hope we can keep teaching and getting more depths on the game. Well, I think we will need both, Steve, definitely. And better for what I understand, for the short lines you have said, how it is done and what you need, because all come from through experience. And yes, it's not an easy task. I understand it's not an easy language, but what we need in these two different objectives, one that we have with a Series A, and one we have with this short-term goal with Singularity are different, but both need results, and needs and if you have a team of young musicians, if you want to say, you still need somebody to lead them and to make be responsible and make that thing work, because that's the kind of team we will need to make
and I want to point
the
out,
smart contract platform work. We can.
Right. Well, and what I want to point out is like how new these tools are, right? Plutus is not even 2 years old yet. Right. And we've already got a second version, and we had just gotten, like what I've been learning over lately is, we had just gotten tools to help you.
Don't get me scared. Don't get me scared, Steve.
No, I'm not getting you scared.
You know,
And you
AI
look
is
at,
here, and we can, and this again, this will be another great opportunity to prove that whatever we do, if it's includes on a business model that can create profit, this is Gimbalabs will be another node where we can create impact and still be strong with our purpose, that is educating people to have social sustainable development. It's a long term for making money to buy food. Then it's all, you know, UN came to put a lot of colors, but then it's that. So, and if it's building houses, good. If it's putting solar panels, great. And if it's coding, great. They're gonna make more than the one that is building the house. So if we can support Gimbalabs and make Gimbalabs grow and teach kids to get stronger domain it and expand the Cardano knowledge, you know, that's another great challenge, Steve. I haven't seen it that way before. You even mentioned it. Okay, so I'm in.
Hey, I see that emoji. Lucas, what you got?
Hey, hi Guillermo. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Lucas.
I just wanted to start by asking you. So you have this running, as you've been saying, as you've
And
been
hey, I should just
explaining.
be clear, we have a
5
hard
minutes.
stop in just over 5 minutes. And
Sure.
we are stopping in 5 minutes, just to be clear, everyone.
So you are promoting this product to the end consumers. You have this running, right?
What product, Lucas?
The solar players, yes.
Yeah.
People are generating energy and everything. So can you tell us in a line, what would you envision using smart contracts and blockchain in your relationship with your current clients?
As I mentioned before during the presentation, there's a lot of land, of fertile land to exploit. First, I have a clear traceability and use that using blockchain to create
Okay, traceability.
Yeah, one thing is traceability, and then we talk about the Energía Social token. So there's an energy token, so that come from kilowatts to ADA to Sheta or Gimbals. You can use a different token, but we want it to be on the Cardano mainnet.
That's good. Thanks. So well, I think what I can suggest is that maybe from your personal perspective, I work in Gimbalabs a bit, but I mostly work on the other side training end users. So I'm going to send you an email to see if you want to try a bit of Cardano, because like Steve was telling you, before you can get to some situations where you're already automating transactions and etc., you need to understand a bit, or from the user's perspective, how to use Cardano. So how to send tokens.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, I understand that, and this is something that you guys were discussing the other day. We need to make this that my aunt can use it. My aunt have to write down 25 words to use Yori. So, you know, there's just a lot of things also that the blockchain is going to be evolving, and so yeah, of course, and as I mentioned, having the possibility also to visualize a node of Cardano running in each user's house, we can use our imagination to go through different, you know, ideas, but there's a lot of technical limitation. So yeah, I understand what you're mentioning, Lucas.
It's just to find opportunities of find real use cases between you and your clients and partners and everything.
Yeah. Today, for example, what we are aiming at with the Singularity proposal will use Cardano users. That is something different than from a householder that, you know, doesn't know shit about Cardano. You know, he's like the house of my father-in-law. You know, he makes energy. He's a mathematician, but he doesn't know how to use DirectTV. So there's a lot of difficulties.
Lucas,
Oh,
thanks for
thank
that.
you.
I think this is a perfect use case, though, for understanding kind of the Cardano architecture. One thing I've learned is that a lot of people lean on the Plutus and Haskell part when they talk about why Cardano is difficult. One thing we've learned here is that understanding the architecture of a Cardano application is much more challenging than learning Plutus or Haskell, right? Really seeing how these component parts fit together. And Lucas has been doing some really groundbreaking work, helping people show how systems are designed. And that's a huge deal. I think that's an excellent follow-up step. Guillermo, two things that I would focus on. First are how we interface with the world beyond Cardano. So number one, there is some interesting work happening already about, how we get information from the physical world onto the blockchain. I dropped the link, adoja.com, into the chat here. They're experimenting, and they're a team of experienced hardware makers. They're making like Internet of Things devices that can help log information to the chain. And then the other thing we need to do is think about bridges from blockchain tokens to people who might not be using or care to own ADA, right? So stable coins might help with that. But I think those are the first two design challenges. And maybe that's something that you and Lucas can follow up about. And then just starting to think about, hey, what are the transactions that people need to have? What are the value flows? Because in everything we do, what we try to encourage people to do is see what that first step is. The sky is the limit. There's so much we can possibly do. It's all about taking that first step. So thank you. Hope you keep building, and I'm looking forward to hearing about follow-up steps from you guys. Yeah. So with that said, this is when we usually transition to planning project-based learning here at Gimbalabs. So I'm really excited to jump into that today. And I think with this grand vision that you've shared with us, we have a really cool opportunity to now drill down and say, how are we going to get there? Our number one theory is that we need more people to be able to help with that. So that's the main problem that Gimbalabs is working on. And what we're going to start to see is that more and more of our ideas are more and more possible as people learn how the systems are built and can start contributing to them. So thanks for the inspiration. I'm gonna go offline. So if anybody's catching this recording later, thanks for checking it out. We do a private Plutus PBL planning meeting after Playground each week. If you're trying to catch up later, I'll post some next steps in Discord by tomorrow at the latest. Thanks for watching.